One other item raised on the sidelines of the summit by Prime Minister Cameron was the impact that changes to EU VAT rules that were agreed 7 years ago are having on micro-enterprises that have taken advantage of the internet to set up small businesses. But I understand that one of the Commission President's spokesman's reaction when he heard this matter was going to be raised was, "Oh, there's just an election on." And one of his spokesmen sent you a tweet blaming the Member States. So do you think that's the right attitude for the Commission to take? Or is it in conflict with their clear aim to create a digital single market? And yet when it comes to people raising concerns about obstacles, they simply blame someone else. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Luer, this was a question to Mr. Juncker, but... yeah, but... No, wait a minute. Mr. Kamal, I don't know. It is by chance that in the UK is an election campaign going on. You know it.
No, not at all.
But be careful. If you answer now on behalf of the Commission, I don't know how Cameron will react.
Mr. Luer, I understand, asked a very clear question about the Commission's attitude towards the concerns of many digital micro-entrepreneurs who have these EU VAT rules imposed on them. And I know Mr. Verhofstadt and his group have also shared that concern. So this is not really a party political issue. Let's be quite clear about this. I have had some very good meetings with the Commission. I mean, Mr. Timmermans and I, this is probably no secret, had dinner the other night and we discussed this issue. It clearly was a secret, Mr. Timmermans. I've now completely reduced your credibility in this Parliament. So I've ruined his career. Mr. Juncker, do not have dinner with me. That will be the end of your career as well. But I have to say, breakfast. I have to say, despite the constructive meetings I've had with various people in the Commission, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed by what I thought considered cheap and shoddy tweets from members of Mr. Juncker's team and also someone calling themselves a press officer for EU better regulation. This morning there was a cross-party breakfast with MEPs from a number of different groups sitting down with these entrepreneurs, and they were disappointed with the tweets coming out of the Commission.
Okay.
My plea to you, Mr. Juncker, is please talk to those people.
Mr. Kamal,
they leave a very poor impression on the Commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very concretely, on the questions put on VAT, this legislation has come into force recently, but it's been decided a long time ago. The Commission is carefully evaluating it in a very pragmatic way, and obviously the Commission will never want this legislation to have adverse effects on small entrepreneurs who very often are at the cutting edge of creating new employment and creating new forms of business. So we will very carefully evaluate the effects, and if the effects are not the effects intended by the legislation or simply not foreseen by the legislation at the time it was drafted, because the economy has developed, especially in the digital areas, developed far more quickly than we could have envisaged at the time 7 years ago. If there are adverse effects, certainly the Commission will take that into account. The two speakers on behalf of the ECR can be assured that this is certainly taken on board, and we started that before Prime Minister Cameron raised the issue with us, but we will certainly feel encouraged by the fact that he did. Thank you very much, Mr. President.